Hello, friends. Very good evening greetings to all of you. I really hope you all are charged with positivity in these evening hours. It's often said, a day started well, ends well. So I would like to mention here that if you sleep with great positivity, you will wake up with great positive spirits. So, dear friends, I, Kunal Nathwal, welcome you to this great economic forum. And in these evening hours, we are going to discuss the issues of great strategic concern. Dear friends, we are basically going to discuss two main important aspects which really need our considerable amount of attention, right? The Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji urges the public to participate in the conservation of water. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji gave a call for public participation along with the state governments and civil society organizations in order to make the campaign of water conservation a great success. And it's really the need of the hour to actually self-realize that this is the issue of vital importance and it requires everyone's support. Moreover, I would like to bring to your notice and actually present the statistical analysis in front of you that how is instability across the globe, especially around Eurasia, that is Europe and Asia, causing a lot of disturbances in the entire global economic scenario. Not only the global economic scenario, but to the global scenario as a whole, because it is causing an extensive loss to the lives and livelihoods as well. So it really requires the attention of the entire globe to actually stop this kind of turmoil and engage in activities of peace. And this requires great self-realization. So several nations, including Germany and Japan, who reduced the defense expenditure post-World War II, are working overtime to produce a variety of destructive weaponry in face of imminent danger. Post-COVID world wishing to bring economy back on track. Yes, my dear friends, post-COVID world wishing to bring economy back on track. So dear friends, I am basically discussing this issue with you because I would like to awaken a sense of responsibility, a sense of consciousness in order to invoke inner wisdom that where are we actually heading? And what is the need of the hour? What needs to be done, and what is being in practice currently? We should try to minimize the difference between the answers of these two questions. That is, what should be done, and on the other hand, what is being done. We should try to minimize this particular difference. So these are the core strategic issues which require the concern of the entire society. So firstly, we are going to discuss the issue of water conservation and what our respected leader Shri Narendra Modi ji is actually trying to do to awaken the people in the society in this particular aspect of water conservation. Our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji gave a call for public participation along with the state governments and civil society organizations in order to make the campaign of water conservation a great success. Sharing his vision of whole of the government and whole of the country, he underlined that such efforts bear the fruit only when people understand the seriousness of the issue, while the government works in coordination and its accountability is enforced. The government is actually holding the first All India Annual State Ministers Conference on Water in Bhopal in which Jal Shakti ministers from all states are taking part to discuss the ways to ensure water conservation. Jal Jeevan Mission, per drop more crop, Namami Gange project and related issues. The theme of the meet is actually water vision at the rate of 2047 with a 25-year roadmap. So this is really a far-sighted approach. In his virtual address, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji asserted that all state governments and the center should work in coordination, constant interaction and cooperation, and therefore collaborate to make water conservation a great success. He emphasized on his vision of whole of government and whole of country to drive home his point. He called for involvement of the people in this moment for actually making this movement a great success. He further adds, success does not come from the efforts of the government alone. The public, social organizations and civil societies also play a very crucial role, Modi ji said. He appealed that their maximum participation in water conservation campaigns should be ensured. While this does not mean that the government should shirk its responsibility and not be held accountable, the Prime Minister said it is also important that public awareness and participation is enhanced at a great level. The biggest advantage of the public participation is the awareness that is created among the public about the efforts being put into the campaign and the money being spent. When the public is associated with the campaign, they also get to know the seriousness of the work. Due to this, a sense of ownership also comes in the public towards any scheme or campaign. The Prime Minister said, and this is the work basically required to invoke the inner wisdom among the public so that they can actually self-realize after the great introspection the seriousness of the matter. Then only they will put 100% of their efforts. He cited the example of the Swachh Bharat campaign, which actually gained ground only when people's involvement increased. It's often said the wise action cannot be forcefully brought from people. It requires the efforts from the government and the concerned authorities to awaken self-consciousness to actually help people realize the worth of the issue, and that can be done only by awakening inner consciousness. All the efforts should be actually focused on this particular objective. Then only we can make any great movement a success. When people joined the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, a consciousness was awakened in the public as well, he said. Crediting the people of India for their efforts, the Prime Minister mentioned that the government took up many initiatives, be it collecting the resources to remove the filth, building various water treatment plants, or constructing toilets. But the success of this campaign was ensured when the public decided that there should be no dirt at all. The Prime Minister emphasized the need to inculcate this idea of public participation towards water conservation as well, and highlighted the impact that awareness can create. Truly very remarkable approach, dear sir, and I really salute your efforts, your true efforts to make any movement a great success. That is how to do effective awakening, which we call Jagran in Hindi. How to make people aware of the matters of crucial concern. This is actually very important, and you are the perfect role model, dear sir. And I salute you for this. Among his suggestions for increasing people's participation were organizing water awareness festivals at local levels, enhancing awareness among the youth, adding related activities in school curriculums in innovative ways, and so on. The Prime Minister reiterated that the campaign to build 75 Amrit Sarovars in every district is already underway. And 25 Amrit Sarovars have already been constructed so far. Truly brilliant. Other initiatives include strengthening the Jal Jeevan mission to provide water to every household, more active participation of Gram Panchayats in this endeavor, and making requisite efforts in industry and agriculture in water conservation. In agriculture, crop diversification, natural farming, and per drop more crop, Atal Bhujal Sanrakshan Yojana are actually some of the steps that should be encouraged. He emphasized the need to connect technology, industry, and startups to identify the problems and therefore find solutions, and mentioned the technologies like geosensing and geomapping that can be of great help. Truly, your approach is extremely visionary, respected sir. The success of Catch the Rain. So, after going through this articulative write-up and the approach which has been depicted here of our respected PM Shri Narendra Modi ji is actually remarkable, and I really salute the commendable approach of Sir towards awakening the public in order to bring public participation towards this social matter of conservation of water. It's not only the social matter, it's actually related to the overall conservation of resources, and water is actually very, very necessary resource. So how to conserve it, how to preserve it, how to reduce its wastage, the approach you have for for actually achieving this particular objective, the approach you are adopting is actually really commendable. Thank you so much, sir. Now, dear guys, we are going to discuss another issue of global concern, which requires the awakening of people worldwide. Yesterday, we had actually presented the statistical analysis. We had presented the statistical analysis of the toll of Ukraine war, of the toll of the deaths and the injured people, and also the number of refugees who have gone to various parts of the world from Ukraine as a result of the Ukraine-Russia war. And all of us are aware that the intensity of this war is actually increasing with each passing day. And we are also aware that along with this Ukraine-Russia war, the disturbance which is happening in Europe, a lot of disturbance is happening in various other parts of the world as well, like in China, who is actually sharing very uncomfortable relationship with the countries like India, Japan, and then Taiwan. So we really need to establish the balance and realize where we are actually heading and where we should be heading. So therefore, all our efforts should be focused towards reducing the difference between these two answers. So let's proceed. Here we are going to present the overall current scenario, what is happening worldwide across major economies who are involved in spreading disturbance and instability. And you all are the best judges like what should be done, where we should head actually. So let's begin. Greed feeds instability around Eurasia. The unpredictable war in Europe and increasingly aggressive China and the point of no return on the nuclear front for North Korea have fueled a new arc of instability, which which actually spreads through Eurasia and is leading to extraordinary hikes in defense spending, even as the post-COVID world faces economic stress. Now, this is really very, very thought-provoking that already post-COVID, we are going through a lot of economic stress, but still a major proportion, a major chunk of the expenses are being used for defense spending. And what is the reason? The reason is just that we are sharing the uncomfortable relationships with each other. So why not resolve the differences through effective negotiation and peaceful talks with each other? And why are we spending more on defense? We should actually approach proactively in a friendly manner. And we should not engage in war. This is the ideal solution, but let's see what is happening currently. The total global spending of defense crossed $2 trillion last year. That is in 2022, with the United States, China, and India at the top spots. And all available data indicates that the number will easily be surpassed in 2023. We really need to think and ponder on this particular aspect. Over the next 5 years, as Germany, Japan, and India look at scaling up the firepower, armed factories will be working overtime to meet the demands for a variety of destructive weaponry, from stealth fighter jets to artificial intelligence enabled swarm drones, air defense systems, maritime force multipliers, and beyond. Now let's discuss the aspect of European cauldron. The unexpected Russia-Ukraine conflict, which commenced on 24th February 2022 with the lighting siege of Kyiv in this month, and dissipated as quickly into a grinding and casualty intensive battle for territory, has thrown Europe its biggest security challenge since the Cold War, that is the World War II. Russia, which was the world's fifth largest defense spender at $65.9 billion in 2021, according to the data shared by Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, has put an all-of-nation effort behind the war, mobilizing not just reserve soldiers but actually scaling up production of missiles, armored vehicles, and drones as it faces a NATO-supported Ukrainian force. In 2023, Moscow plans to spend $83.5 billion on its defense forces, a massive spike that will go towards arming troops and replenishing ammunition stocks. The Russian challenge has also led to other European powers having a relook at defense preparedness, with Germany being first off the blocks, announcing a $106 billion special fund that would go towards rearming its forces. The special fund is expected to be disbursed over the next 5 years and will be over and above its regular defense spending. France, which is a major global weapons supplier and has its hands full when it comes to the exports of cutting-edge systems like the Rafale fighter jets, has actually announced a $3 billion hike in its defense spending for the year 2023, a 7.8% hike over the last year. The bulk of the French budget will go towards procuring new weapons. This is actually very, very alarming, my dear friends. It's not a point to be proud of that how much we are spending on the defense expenses. It's actually a point to ponder where we are heading. Why can't we settle the differences. Instead, we are actually spending a lot on the R&D for the weaponry, for the arms and ammunitions. For what? For causing destruction? For actually causing extensive loss to the lives and livelihoods across the globe? Is this justified? Is this humanitarian? No, definitely no. So this actually requires a lot of thought through self-consciousness, through self-realization. And this actually requires mass awakening across the globe. Next, let's come back to see what's the current scenario in other parts of the world as well. The United Kingdom, isolated from the European economy after Brexit, but still a vital NATO partner, has pledged to double its defense spending to $120 billion by 2029. The increased money is actually expected to be invested into drone and counter-drone capabilities and enhancing the island nation's artillery firepower. Other smaller European states, most of them NATO members, have pledged to increase the defense spending to 2% of the national GDP after the Ukraine crisis. The new applicants to the Security Alliance, Sweden and Finland too, will look to boost defense spending by 2%. Now let's discuss the aspect of aid to Ukraine. At the center of the war, Ukraine, which relied majorly on Russian origins arms and equipment, has received support from across the Western world in the form of weapons, financial assistance, and humanitarian missions. According to the Kiel Institute, till October 2022, Ukraine got assistance worth $99 billion, most of it from the United States. Faced with a war that threatens its very existence, Ukraine itself will spend $30 billion on defense in 2023, which actually amounts to a whopping 44% of its entire annual budget. Now, where is Asian unease actually lying and where we are actually heading? Yes, we are a part of the continent Asia, and we are discussing a lot of disturbances happening across Eurasia, that is Europe and Asia. Now let's discuss the aspect of uneasiness being caused in the region of Asia. So, as Europe feels the heat from Russia, Asia is facing the threat of an increasingly assertive China that seems to be willing to open all fronts, from the territorial borders with India to disputed islands with Japan and the ever-changing threat of an invasion of Taiwan. This is really alarming. Ending decades of defense strategy that relied on the American deployments, Japan has announced that it will increase the spending on arming its troops to double in the next 5 years. This will give Japan a $314 billion war chest to shore up the defenses against the twin threats of China and North Korea. Japan is looking to forge new defense technology partnerships, including the plans to produce new stealth fighter jets with European partners and increasing its naval capabilities. Dear friends, here I would like to express a point. I understand that natural disasters like earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, droughts, cyclones, all these are the natural disasters on which we do not have the control to a great extent. These are being caused due to certain changes being caused in the nature itself, right? But we are now being a part of man-made disasters. That is, we are developing a lot of weapons for destruction of each other. Is this justified? These statistical analysis where we are studying that so much of expenses are being devoted by the respective countries towards defense expenses because of the rivalry they are having with the nations with other nations of the globe, with their neighbors or with other nations so this is really an issue which requires a second thought. We do have some control on this second category of the disasters because we are causing them. We are causing them just because of the uncomfortable relationships we are sharing. Don't we realize the worth, the importance, the relevance of the precious life being gifted to us by God, that we are causing so much of destruction? We should head towards construction, not destruction. That's not a humanitarian approach. But we are humans, so we should act like humans. So, while China has shown that it will not back down on ever expanding territorial claims, North Korea announced itself as a nuclear weapons state in 2002, pledging an exponential increase in production of the nuclear warheads and ballistic missiles in 2023. This is actually causing a lot of fear. If the nature of the war turns nuclear, if it turns into a nuclear natured war, it will really cause irreparable damage to the entire globe. Yes, my dear friends, it will cause irreparable damage to the entire globe, which will actually be irreversible. So, the ending decades of defense strategy that relied on American deployments, Japan has announced that it will increase the spending on arming its troops to double in next 5 years. This will give Japan a $314 billion war chest to shore up the defenses against the twin threats of China and North Korea. Japan is looking forward to forge new defense technology partnerships, including the plans to produce the new stealth fighter jets with European partners and increasing its naval capabilities. South Korea is planning to increase the defense spending by 6.8% annually over the next 5 years to counter the North Korea's extraordinary investment into missiles and nuclear weapons. Closer coordination with the United States forces in the region is also expected to come at the cost of shoring up capabilities of its armed forces. Even the smaller nations like the Philippines, which has an annual defense outlay of $4.8 billion, are actually planning to increase the spending at an annual rate of 8% in the coming years. Now, my dear friends, I would like to present a point in front of you that consider a scenario where we are channelizing the energy, our entire energy towards construction. We would create a paradise. On the other hand, consider a scenario where different entities of the entire globe, consider globe as one place, and different entities across the globe are actually putting their 100 efforts, they're channelizing their entire energy just to damage the another entity of this globe. One entity A is trying to damage the entity B. C is trying to damage D. E is trying to damage F. What will it cause? It will cause global destruction. Though in the back of mind, we want to create a paradise for ourselves. We want comfort. We want peace of mind. We want to stay in peace with all comforts, with all luxuries. So please tell me, will this actually help you to lead a luxurious life? Will this approach of global destruction, of trying to cause the damage to your neighbor or to your friend, will it actually help you in attaining the peace of mind? Will it help you to live in comfort? Will it, or if we talk in terms of economics, will it help you to enhance your GDP? Will it help you to actually empower your citizens of your nation? Will it help you to generate employment? Will this actually help you to attain the sustainable development goals? This is really a point which you need to ponder upon, self-realize, awaken your consciousness, because this time is very crucial, now or never. Now let's discuss the picture of India. India, which is the second biggest defense spender in Asia, increased its spending by 10% in 2022, reaching $70.6 billion. The increase was mostly on account for China, that has kept the line of actual control alive with the deployment of thousands of troops. The ongoing transgressions and the violent clash at Tawang in December are likely to ensure that in 2023, the defense allocation will receive yet another bump up. Dear guys, it's actually a very alarming situation across the globe. Where we are heading, whatever efforts, whatever productive efforts we are trying to put in other sectors of the economy in order to boost economic development, all those efforts will be in vain if we are spending so much on defense expenditure. If we are trying to enhance our defense expenses, because of the uncomfortable differences we share with each other, this will actually cause global destruction. We just need to spread a word across the public to just self-realize. The concerned authorities should not adopt the reactive approach of causing damage to each other. They should adopt the proactive approach. It's often said in Hindi that tali do haath se bajti hai. That is in order to applaud, there is the usage of both hands. A single hand, if it thinks that I don't want to applaud, we won't be able to clap. So just think and ponder on this aspect, as this is the aspect of crucial concern. So on this ground, dear friends, I would like to end today's session. I just want all of you, the two issues which we have discussed, like water conservation, a lot of public participation is being expected towards this drive, because of the noble efforts of our respected Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, who is actually very, very far-sighted and visionary in his approach. On the other hand, we have also discussed the actual scenario which is existing, the war scenario which is existing in the entire globe. Forget the losses it is causing towards economy. Just think what irreparable damage it can cause to the lives, to the livelihood, to the livestock. That's really a thing to ponder upon. So, good night, dear guys, and I wish you really take good care of yourselves until we meet next, because we can protect ourselves very well if the nature is giving us a call, like increasing winters, right? But what's our role? We should contribute effectively to create a very, very comfortable environment. So we should be very honest towards displaying our duties, towards our basic fundamental duties of being a human. Then only we can become the real human beings. Thank you so much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.